we're going to construct and understand frequency tables for a set of data with technology using a calculator. Okay, now bear with me a little bit on this one. So first things first, we are dealing with a TI-83 or a TI-84. The functionality should and is the same for both of these. Buttons would be the same, all of that. So the first thing we're going to do is hit Stat, which is here, and it'll pop up as an edit, and you're going to hit Enter. Okay, so that's step one, and then you're going to see this page. We want to enter our data into L1. So enter in these 12 numbers. So you'll hit 2 and then enter, and then 4 and then enter, and so on and so forth. So you should have 12 numbers listed in L1. Okay, step one. Well, I guess step two. Great. So now when you have your numbers in L1 as seen here, L1 line 13 should be blank because we only had 12 numbers. Okay, so you should see this. Now we want to sort this data. So again, hit the Stat button. Then you're going to arrow down to 2 and hit Enter. And then you're going to hit second one and parentheses and enter. I know that kind of is confusing, but when you hit Stat down to 2 and hit Enter, it's going to bring you out to a different page. So when you hit second one, you'll notice that second one gives you L1 on your page. Okay, that's why I have this L1 here. So Stat, and then down, it'll say that when you hit Stat down to 2, it says Sort A parentheses. So when you hit Enter, it puts Sort A onto your screen. Then you're going to hit second one so that it's L1 and end parentheses. This is what you want it to say on your screen. Okay, now when you go back to that, okay, after you hit the L1 inside your parentheses, you're going to go back to Stat and Edit, which is the first one, hit Enter. You're going to notice that it's going to organize your data. So originally, the numbers in our L1 line here are not organized, but this sort piece organizes it least to greatest. So now that the data is organized, now we want to enter the unique numbers least to greatest in L2. So when you go back to Stat, in Edit, right, just to be able to get in here, you just arrow over to get to the L2 spot. We have 5 unique numbers, so you're going to put 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 into L2. All right, so we have L1 is our organized data, L2 are the unique numbers, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and now we need to enter the frequencies into L3. So you can go back and say, okay, I have 2 2s. So you're going to enter 2, and I have 2 3s, and I have 4 4s. You're going to have to arrow down, right? So you can arrow down in your L1 column. If you're in L1, you can just use your arrow down button to see how many of each. So you want to type them in. Remember, we started with 12 numbers. So 2 plus 2 plus 4 plus 2 plus 2 is 12. We want to make sure that the total of our frequencies in L3 is the total of our frequencies. Okay, so now, wait, let me come back to this. Oh my gosh, we're getting whiplash. Okay, so now you want to see, this is what your Stat Edit should look like. L1 is all 12 numbers least to greatest, L2 is the unique numbers, and L3 is the frequencies. Okay, so this right here is your frequency table, L2 and L3. Now, what's the point of that? Because I feel like I could have done that by hand. I don't disagree with that. But we can make a histogram with this. So if you want to play with this, we need to turn our stat plot on. Now, stat plot is right above the y equals. So you're going to hit second y equal, not send. Where's my second y equals, and I guess the second is this way. Second y equals gives you the stat plot. So in number 1, you're going to hit enter on the 1, and it'll take you to this screen that you see in the bottom right hand. So you want to arrow over from off to on and hit enter so that on becomes your blinking. And then in type, notice the one over here is the histogram. So you want to arrow over to the histogram and hit enter. And then for the X list, you want to type in L2, which would be second 2. And then for L3, you would do second 3 to give the L2 and the L3 lines. And then you hit enter. And it's going to give you your histogram. You can change this by zooming, by the window, so you can change what that all looks like. But that's the basic idea of using a calculator to create a frequency table and a histogram. I'm not sure that it's the easiest thing in the world to do. I think I'd rather do it by hand. But depending on your numbers and how it looks, this might be helpful. So hope that was informational.